I'm addicted and expensive. Byron Wilcott. And I'm watching WGS-TV.
Hi everybody, welcome to another installment of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer. I am Billy Boudreaux, and this is going to be my Raw review for the week of February 6th, 2012. We open up this week's Monday Night Raw with Triple H's response to the Undertaker's challenge, and I really thought that was a very good move to open up this week's Raw with Triple H's response. You know, we ended Monday Night Raw last week, you know, with the whole situation involving Undertaker and Triple H, and Triple H's reactions to it. You know, it was kind of left open to interpretation. You know why Triple H, did what he did. Which to me kind of looked like he flat out turned down the Undertaker's challenge, and that's pretty much what he used his promo to say. The Undertaker that he's used to, the one that that makes him feel humbled to be in the ring, the one that fills him full of awe. He gets the chill up and down his spine. That Undertaker was not present last week. He just didn't see it this week, so he had to turn down the Undertaker's challenge. And then we see a vignette pop up with the Undertaker stating that his win over Triple H last year at WrestleMania meant nothing to him. He didn't want to be remembered as the guy that had to be carried out of that match, and he wants basically revenge and redemption. No response from Triple H as of yet from that vignette. We open up Monday Night Raw. Oh, by the way, that opening promo gets a 4 out of 5. Like I said, I thought it was great placement, to open up with Triple H's response. Like I said, the end of Monday Night Raw last week, was really left, open to interpretation, Triple H's reactions. And we get a verbal response from Triple H, turning down the Undertaker's challenge. And I really thought that was a really great way to open up Monday Night Raw this week. Our opening match, it was Big Show and Bryan with AJ involved. And my only gripe about the match was the fact that they had AJ down there, which meant one thing. It meant AJ was going to be involved. And yes, it did happen. It's basically almost an exact replica of the situation that happened with the World Heavyweight title on the line on Friday Night SmackDown between Daniel Bryan and Big Show when he accidentally ran over AJ and started all this mess in the first place. And they came within a hair of each other. And when you're AJ in the Big Show, a hair, not that much space is left. Not that much space. So Daniel Bryan, ends up losing the match via countout. So Big Show's the winner. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 3 out of 5. It wasn't a bad match, but it wasn't a fantastic match either. And, just for the predictability of the fact that AJ was going to be involved in this match, which gives it, leads to its mediocre score. Then next we see David Otunga coming out. He's asking the WWE Universe to pray for him because he feels that John Laurinaitis is an inspirational and creative leader for Monday Night Raw and doesn't want to see him lose his position. So he gets down like he's Chris Masters, like this. And then we hear Justin Roberts make the announcement by the order of COO Triple H. David Otunga will now compete in a match against Sheamus. Sheamus is the last person you want to face in a sweater, in my opinion. You don't want to face the Great White in a sweater. It kind of makes you look foolish. And David Otunga, anything that he does kind of looks foolish. Makes me kind of wonder, what exactly is he sipping in that cup of his, in that giant coffee thermos? Is it coffee? Or maybe a little something. Anyway, Sheamus ends up getting the win. I'm gonna go ahead and give it this match a 3.5 out of 5 entertainment value. I mean, who doesn't like to see David Otunga get his ass kicked? I'm all for it, to be honest with you. Next up on Monday Night Raw, we have the Chris Jericho CM Punk segment, and for those of you who haven't checked it out yet, my full detailed response and reactions to everything in that promo can be found on this week's Chris Jericho report, which is also up here on youtube.com/WrestleGamer. So if you want to check out my thoughts and my detailed reactions to Chris Jericho and CM Punk and everything that was said in that vignette, in that promo, you gotta go to the Chris Jericho report video, which is up right now on youtube.com/WrestleGamer. But I'm going to go ahead and give you a rating for it because I did not rate that promo. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4 out of 5. Chris Jericho golden on the microphone, and they basically kind of use this promo, as I said on the Chris Jericho report, to kind of confirm the rumors of the feud starting between CM Punk and Chris Jericho, and they really, really did well with this promo. Next up on Monday Night Raw this week, we had a tag match, with implications for the SmackDown Elimination Chamber. The reason I say that, because 4 of the SmackDown Elimination Chamber participants are in this tag match. It's the Great Khali and Randy Orton versus Wade Barrett and Cody Rhodes. I thought it was a really good match. A lot of hard tags were seen in this match, especially between the Great Khali and Randy Orton. The finish of the match came when Cody Rhodes attempted to do the beautiful disaster kick on the Great Khali. You have to get up really up there to get up to his face. And Khali said, "Khali top!" and split him right on the head. And after the match was over, there was a disagreement between the Great Khali and Randy Orton, which led to Orton RKOing the Great Khali. Now, normally I don't say this about the Great Khali, but when they executed the RKO, he sold that move beautifully. And like I said, it's not very often you hear me say that about the Great Khali, about him selling a move perfectly, but he pulled it off tonight with the RKO. So thumbs up to the Great Khali for a good job selling the RKO tonight on Monday Night Raw. As far as the tag match goes, I was really entertained in this match. I thought it was really good. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4 out of 5. Next up on this week's edition of Monday Night Raw, we have the 8 Divas tag match. It's Tamina, Kelly, Eve, and Alicia Fox taking on the farting Natalya, Beth Phoenix, the Divas champion, and Nikki and Brie, the Bella Twins. Why in the world are we seeing this over and over again? You know, if they had this match at the Royal Rumble, it kind of feels like they've been really repetitive as of late when it comes to this Divas match. But one thing I want to point out about this match is Beth Phoenix cut a promo on WWE.com, and they played the interview during the match, which basically said that, you know, she had no competition, there was nobody that could beat her, and she was getting bored. And to me, that kind of tells me they're kind of opening up the door for a Beth Phoenix Karma feud for the Divas Championship. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not on that, but it's kind of what it tells me, is that we might be seeing a Karma Beth Phoenix feud for the Divas title. And if they really go that route, that's a really, really good move for the WWE, because you're putting together 2 WWE Divas who actually know how to wrestle. That's my opinion on it. As far as this 8 Divas tag match, the finish came when Tamina hit the big Superfly Splash on one of the Bella Twins, and they got the 3 count. But to be really honest with you, I was very uninterested in this 8 Divas tag team match. So much so, I actually took a 2-minute piss break, and by the time I came back, the match was halfway over. So I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5. But I will raise it half a point to 2.5 out of 5 because I actually thought the placement of the Beth Phoenix promo from WWE.com was really a good spot to put it on. And like I said, it kind of opens up the door. We saw the return of Karma at the Royal Rumble, and it's quite possible now we could see her being reinserted, coming back into the WWE and actually being utilized in a storyline with Beth Phoenix. Because I know a lot of people out there have been wondering, when we're going to see Karma and Beth Phoenix, two of the strongest divas currently in the WWE. When are we going to see those two collide? And it's quite possible rather, because of this interview, we could see the start of this storyline, starting to take shape, because the way they could do it, if you think about it, is they could have Karma come back in Monday Night Raw and say, well, you need competition? I'm right here. It's possible they can go that route. So, 2.5 out of 5 for that one. And now we go to the backstage with John Laurinaitis and Triple H. And, they're kind of conversing back and forth. And Triple H is making jokes about John Laurinaitis' career, being hooked up to a heart monitor, beep, 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 beep. I don't know if I did that right, but just wanted to see, Triple H wanted to see if Laurinaitis' career was going to flatline. And then Laurinaitis made references to the fact that he made suggestions to the board of directors, which they agreed. And one of those suggestions is next week on Monday Night Raw, we're going to have the return of the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. I'm okay with that. WWE Hall of Famer. I'm okay with that. And also at Elimination Chamber, it was also announced that it's going to be John Cena and Kane in an ambulance match. Initial rumors to me looked like it was going to be a last man standing match. Ambulance match might take it a step further. And it might be a good move, rather than another last man standing match involving John Cena. So, I thought it was a good move, and a good promo, and good segment with Laurinaitis and Triple H. 4 out of 5. I was thoroughly entertained. Then we come to the 6-pack challenge match, which happened, involving the Raw Elimination Chamber participants, that is CM Punk, The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, R-Truth, Kofi Kingston, and Chris Jericho, with the implications being that the person who wins this 6-pack challenge will enter last in the Raw Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship. A couple of things I want to point out about this match. R-Truth did a springboard somersault plancha onto The Miz, and then when they came back for commercial break, he had to be carried out because he could not walk under his own power because it looked like he got legitimately hurt. Now, reports are saying, also on from Joey Styles' Twitter, this is courtesy of my good friend James here, we already tried to film this Raw review once, and the audio fell out of sync. That's why I'm recording it by myself again, so my apologies to James. But he made mention of the fact that Joey Styles put up on his Twitter that R-Truth is okay. He's lucky he didn't suffer any serious injury. So I'm thinking, when he smacked on the floor in that match, that he might have, I don't know if he, felt lightheaded or maybe had the wind knocked out of him. But I think, the WWE medical officials, did the right thing by pulling him out of that match and not allowing him to continue, because he could have risked seriously injuring himself. There's a reason why they say don't try this at home, because even the trained professionals can get hurt. And tonight, R-Truth was definitely very lucky. Very lucky. Another thing I want to make mention of the fact there was a spot that called for a double clothesline between Chris Jericho and The Miz. Miz might have jumped the gun a little bit during the run, because during the first part of the initial part of the run, he was kind of selling it like he already took a clothesline. Jericho didn't even do nothing, but props to The Miz for actually being able to get up in time and recognize where Jericho was in the spot to execute the double clothesline. So props to The Miz. He wouldn't have been in that pickle if he wouldn't have screwed it up in the first place, but, you know, to me, it kind of looked like Miz might have been off the ball. And if he continues to fumble the ball, so to speak, we could be seeing The Miz being demoted to WWE, WWE Superstars. But the ending came when CM Punk reversed the Famouser from Dolph Ziggler into the go to sleep. Jericho pulls CM Punk out, throws him into the announce table, and gets the 1, 2, 3. So Jericho will be entering last in the Elimination Chamber. Rating by far, I thought it deserves a perfect score, 5 out of 5. I thought it was really good. Even though it was kind of, I thought it was a little bit predictable, especially the way the promo went earlier in the night with Jericho and CM Punk. It kind of looked like, they were putting a lot of hype into Jericho and what he's going to be doing in the Elimination Chamber. So I thought it was still good. I thought the match quality was really, really well. It outshined a lot of the other matches. But not by far, though, but it still kind of really outshined, and it was a really good main event in my opinion. So 5 out of 5. Now I'm thinking at this time Monday Night Raw is over, done. We're gonna see the credits. Bye bye. See you later. Review over. No. Next, we see a weird promo where Kane has cornered Eve. She's scared to death. The dude's freaking scary, but and he says for the first time in his life he's starting to be afraid because he's afraid for John Cena if he doesn't embrace the hate. He's afraid for the people around him if Cena doesn't embrace the hate. And for the first time ever in his life, he's afraid for himself. And I don't know exactly how to react to that. It was kind of weird and creepy. And for some reason, I kind of see Kane getting involved in some way, in some facet, with The Rock and John Cena. Personally, the way I want to see it happen is Kane come out and tombstone The Rock over and over again onto a steel chair, because I don't want to see him anymore in the WWE. But, not going to happen. This is just a personal wish. Weird ending for Monday Night Raw. Just like last week, we had a weird ending with Triple H's reactions to The Undertaker's appearance on Monday Night Raw. Last week, we end up with a weird ending involving Kane with a weird message to Eve and apparently John Cena. So one thing we're definitely going to have to look forward to on next week's Monday Night Raw Super Show is how will John Cena respond to what Kane did. So I'm looking forward to that. And that's another thing. WWE is actually doing something now. They're making their television program interesting again. We want to see how they'll respond each week. Last week we all wanted to see how Triple H was going to respond to the Undertaker challenge, and we all saw that tonight on Monday Night Raw. So, how will Cena respond? Who knows? I guess we'll see it on next week's Monday Night Raw. So what I want to know now, guys, is what did you, the viewers and subscribers of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer, what did you guys think of Monday Night Raw? Well, what were your ratings for the show? You know the two ways to do it. Either in a comment in the comment section below or in a video response. Your thoughts on Monday Night Raw, and how are you guys starting to interpret this whole situation with Triple H and The Undertaker? Triple H saying no, and then out pops up this vignette with The Undertaker saying that he wants redemption, he wants revenge, he doesn't want to be remembered as a guy who got carried out at last year's WrestleMania. He wants to give Triple H another shot at immortality. How do you guys see this going? That's another thing I want to know from you guys. So be sure you put your responses in, again, either in the comment section below or in a video response. I look forward to checking out your responses. By the way, if you like what I had to say in this video, do me a favor, hit the like button. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. Remember, when we get up to 900 subscribers, that's when I'll hold the next Q&A session right here on youtube.com/WrestleGamer. But we've got to get up to 900 subscribers. So, with that being said, I'm Double B Billy Boudreaux saying thank you very much for watching.